Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy MidPokeMaster here today with something we've been waiting for years. Today we are here at the APA Season 7 main Wi-Fi draft analysis. If you don't know what APA is, it is the American Pokemon Association created by Panther2 and Midicus, two, very long time, draft league players. So APA is the American Pokemon Association. This is the league I have been grinding for ever since I started making content. Let me look at when I first made content. It's been years in the making, or at least draft league content, but I've been a long time member of the APA community, on the showdown scene, and it has been years of me. My first draft league video was June 20th, 2017. I've been grinding that long, to do YouTube videos to get into, Wi-Fi scenes. And my first Wi-Fi draft league was draft analysis went up January 26, 2019. This has almost been 3 years in the making of me getting the APA. Man, this has been my dream, to battle, to get in leagues that had people like A-Drive, PokeAim, Envy. Even though they're not in the league this season, I still got here. We completed the dream. So before we get any further, don't forget to like and subscribe and click that bell in the top right corner if you want a notification whenever I upload. I've been, as I said before, I'm a longtime APA, community member. I've been a big part of the showdown side, as a staff member. I run the, D League to the Wi-Fi scene. I'm an APA champion. I won APA Ascension last season. So it is time for me to be in here. I've proven myself and I've made it. So it's time. So we are doing something a little bit different than any draft league you've seen, in Gen 8. We're going back to APA Season 5 where they did the 3 draft system. So this league is 12 weeks long, 16 coaches, and we draft 3 teams. We're also rocking the APA merch. So, that means we're talking serious here. So, it's 3 drafts. We draft a team and then use it for 4 weeks. Then we draft another team and use that for another 4 weeks. Then we draft another team and use it for another 4 weeks. So that's hype. There's so many different ones we get to use. But before, the playoff system was a little bit different. Before, you would basically pick you'd look at all the mons you drafted and, pick a team, based on all those mons. But now, you just pick one team. So, you pick one team and then use that. So, you make it to playoffs. You pick either your draft 1, your draft 2, or your draft 3. You don't mix, mons together. So that is something different. This is 16 coaches, a lot of good pals, a lot of people I haven't played in a long time or new to the scene. All of their links will be down below in the description. Make sure to check them all out. Draft analysis should be going up over the next few days. Mine will be going up the day of the draft stream hosted by OG Albina. So make sure to check everybody out. So as I said before, there are 16 coaches, and we got 13th pick. So that's very, not super far in. So that's a yikes. So we're not going to get anything broken like a Dragapult or an Urshifu or even a Mew. So since this is my first time, in the big leagues, APA is a big league. I want to go comfort. I want to make sure, we can win, our first 3 or 4 weeks. So, we can start off, if we get a draft later on that's not maybe our favorite, we don't have to suffer and, worry about it. So we want to, get a team that we are super comfortable with. And why not pick a mon that I'm super comfortable with? Like Zygarde 50. This one, I had an NCP Season 5, the latest NCP season, and I absolutely loved it. This one fits my playstyle super well. Super fat and annoying, because it has an insane, stats, 108 HP, 100 attack, 121 defense, 81 special attack, and 95 in advanced speed. So this one is incredibly bulky, but also with that base 100 paired with a choice and hits very hard. This is one of the best ground types in the format. You absolutely have to have a ground type on every draft league team, so you don't automatically lose to something like a Coco or a Zeraora, because then they can just run choice band or choice specs and get free volt switch or just hit very, very hard. So Zygarde is a baller. It can do so many different things. It can be Dragon Dance setup, Coil setup, Sub-Toxic Protect. 1000 Arrows is a very amazing ground type move. It's 90 base power, and it hits any mon, even if they're immune to, the ground typing. So I can hit a Celesteal with 1000 Arrows, knock it down, and still hit it, and then hit it super effective the next turn. So Zygarde just does so many different things. I'm not afraid to use a bulky like a lot of Wi-Fi players are. If you see my NCP season, I've ran Subtoxic so many different times just because I felt like that was the best set for some matchups. It doesn't always need to be the offensive presence. It has that incredible HP and defense stat for a reason, so might as well use it. And it's also very fast, so you know, it outspeeds a lot of walls, and if you can EV it correctly to take a lot of hits to not break subs. So this one is very nice, but also you can just run a choice band on it. If you know, you can just break through with it. You know, just throw a choice band, get, you know, just two-shot everything, because grass types are the only real counter to this mon, or incredibly defensive walls, but then you just run the Subtoxic protects it like I said. This mon's big weakness is the ice types. It struggles with bulky waters and grasses. Like, it can beat them, but it, you know, it still struggles with them. So I got a mon that, you know, doesn't help with the ice weakness, but it is one of the best counters with Zygarde due to it beating grass and water types, being Zapdos. Zapdos is a mon that I've only used once this gen in just a for fun showdown league, and I'm super excited to use it because this mon pairs perfectly with Zygarde outside of the ice weakness. These two are considered, you know, very perfect for each other. It's an electric flying type, you know, with base 90 HP and attack, 85 defense, 125 special attack, 90 speed depth, and 100 speed. So it gives you know, a little bit higher speed tier. Zygarde's at 95, Zapdos is at 100. It's a great fighting type switch in, is a great grind immunity, which also every team needs. Because you don't want your opponents running like a choice band extra control and just 6-0ing you. You want to force them to have to run those other options like Rock Slide. But Zapdos is very nice because now it gets access to Flying Step and Hurricane. So it can actually hit those grass types very, very hard that normally it could not before last gen. Like its best Flying Step was Drill Peck or Air Cutter. So, but now paired with Hurricane with that base 125 special attack, even if you don't invest in it, that can one-shot or two-shot a lot of grass types, or just a lot of mons in general. This one hits very hard, but it's also known for being very defensive. You know, it gives me a defogger because Zygarde does not like to get, you know, spikes stacked against, and it does not like T-spikes. So this one just hits so very hard, while also, you know, being very defensive and taking so many hits. This one is a John Jr. mon. This one runs like Thunderbolt, Roost, you know, Defog, U-turn, Volt Switch, Toxic. You know, I can run like a Rain Dance Weather Ball set. This one just is kind of pigeonholed and, you know, being defensive most weeks. But if you get that offensive matchup with it, it just tears through because not many people prefer offensive. And if it can fit it, if I can fit that in one of the 4 weeks I have it, it just absolutely destroys. So now I wait like 20 something picks. You know, while I usually kind of pick in pairs. I'm 13th pick. So I wait like 6 picks, you know, between my first round and second round. So, you know, I can kind of, you know, prepare. And the people behind me, OJ Albina, Amo, and Just Kurt, if I talk to them and tell them like, hey, what are you looking at? You know, don't snipe this. I can get, you know, I don't have to worry about getting sniped. Like, I know OJ Albina was talking about getting Zapdos, but since I said I wanted it, he didn't get it. And he talked about getting a mon that I was kind of looking at, but I decided, you know, he said he wants it, so I'll get it. I won't get it. But he ends up not drafting it anyway, so I draft it later on. Works out perfectly fine. I get it way later than I anticipated. So next mon, I get my boy Suicune. If this mon is just incredibly bulky, it helps me with that ice weakness a lot. It is incredibly fat and resists ice. Base 100 HP and then base 115 defense and speed F, 75 attack, 90 special attack, and 85 speed. So, you know, we go Zapdos, Zygarde, Suicune, which is very nice speed tiers. Because Suicune is one of the few bulky waters that actually will run speed. And this is the one that Wi-Fi players don't like to play against. No offense to them, they just don't like breaking, you know, like stalled. This one can run Crocoon or Vincoon, you know, like Calm Mind, you know, Scald, Rest, Sleep Talk. Or I can run, you know, not Calm Mind, like Subtoxic, Protect, Scald, you know, outspeed a lot of the walls. Because 85 speed is a lot for a wall. And just Scald is very spammable. 90 special attack isn't very high, but it's very nice. And the Scald is just very free. Toxic is very nice. This is a mon that I used in my APA run, you know, to win the championship with Zygarde. So that pairs very well together. It just hits very, very hard. And, you know, those mons just pair with each other very well because, you know, they take each other's hits. Like, neither of them like grass types. Zygarde beats the fire types. I don't even know what I'm saying. It beats the electric types for Suicune. That's what I meant to say. But these three pair very well together, you know, as a defensive pairing. But I'm going to need more offense. So I get my boy Scolipede. Scolipede is such an offensive threat. I'm just pulling up his stats real quick. I know it's base 100 attack. Yeah. But this is the amount that I've used so many times this gen, but I just can't get enough of. It just hits so absolutely hard. It just hits so absolutely hard with that bug and poison type. It's just very hard to switch into with a life orb. Hits very hard with an SD. Baton passing stats is banned, so I can't abuse that like I did IPA with Dracovish, because otherwise I would have not have got that many kills with Dracovish. But Scolipede is just so absolutely good and fits my playstyle with the spike stacking. It gives me my first hazard setter for Zygarde, which is very nice. It loves that hazard damage. Hits very, very hard. Also, it's T-Spikes. So I don't want to run, Toxic on every mon like I normally would. I can just run T-Spikes, get, that poison or that Toxic off, and, not have to be forced to click Toxic every turn. This one also just is a T-Spike absorber. It gives me a very good speed tier at base 112, above Zapdos. Something my opponents are forced to prep for. But this one can, just be Breaker with, Mega Horn, Poison Jab, Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Superpower, SD, or, it can be a Sash lead, with like Spike Stack, Spikes, Endeavor, with the Sash, force my opponents down to 1 HP, then run Extreme Speed with Zygarde and pick it off. Break a wall like that otherwise Zygarde would not like. And it's a great, it's another great pairing with Zygarde 50, it's another way of breaking those grass types that, Zygarde and Suicune can struggle with, Zapdos can deal with, but might not always want to. So it's just very, very nice. So I picked, Suicune and Scolipede basically together. So that way another 20 picks, and my boy Alakazam comes back. I accidentally moved to slide down. We get my boy Alakazam. This is another very fast breaker. Gives me a special breaker, 135 special attack. Gives me another amazing speed tier at base 120, above Scolipede. So my speed tiers are very nice. Going 120 Alakazam, 112 Scolipede, 100 Zapdos, 95 Zygarde 50, and then 85 in Suicune. So as I said, the speed tiers are very, very nice. It gives me a special breaker that otherwise I did not have before. Very fast. But like I said, base 135 special attack, and this one just gets coverage out of the wazoo with Psychic, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Game, Focus Blast. I believe it gets, I don't know if it gets Thunderbolt. I know it gets Energy Ball. It does not get Thunderbolt. But even like a Nasty Plot Sash set, I guarantee leave a hit, get a Nasty Plot off, and I just start wall breaking or just revenge killing everything. It's an amazing revenge killer with a Magikarp Focus Sash. With Magikarp, only direct attacks can, do damage, so it doesn't get hit by Stealth Rocks. It doesn't get hit by Toxic, so, never even have to run boots on this unless I'm afraid of Sticky Webs. But with that Focus Sash, I'm guaranteed to live any sort of hit, and I can just claim a kill, or, make sure I two-shot him on it, just revenge kill. So this mon just fits very well in my playstyle and just gives me an amazing breaker for this team. So next up, I get a little bit more bulk. I get my boy or girl Aromatisse. This one is very fat and annoying. Gives me a good Wish Passer. So Zygarde, very much like Wishes, Suicune doesn't give reliable recovery outside of Breath, so that is a very nice, Wish Passer into that. I actually had a lot of these mons on my Ascension team. Without really trying, I kind of redrafted my Ascension team here. I know Zygarde, Suicune, and Aromatisse and Alakazam. I can't exactly remember if I had, what's it called? If I had Scolipede. I feel like I might have. I'm just looking for the Ascension doc real quick that the season I won. APA Ascension. There's so many APA docs. Because I want to see how much I drafted that was on that team. But funnily enough, I had Aromatisse for all 10 weeks, plus the 3 playoff games, and I don't think I brought it once. Which is kind of funny. So I had Zygarde, I had Suicune, I had Aromatisse, and Alakazam. So 4 mons out of the 6 I had. Zapdos would have been nice, but I had Skarmory on that team. And instead of Scolipede, I just didn't have anything. Skarmory was my Spike Stacker, which was very nice. So Aromatisse is a baller fairy type. Especially with those Wish Passes, it gives me a Cleric user with Heal Bell. So if, like my Zygarde, Zapdos, Suicune all get like Toxic, I can just Heal Bell off and not have to be worried about it. So next up, I needed a Steel type. I wanted a Fairy Resist. So I got my boy Bronzong. Gives me a secondary ground immunity. So ground types, you know, normally I'd be like, oh, I need like a grass type, you know, to deal with Zygarde. So, you know, it can't run Choice Band 1,000 arrows and just beat me. But I have Zygarde, and nobody's going to draft Zygarde 10% because that mon is just awful. But we get my boy Bronzong. I mean, gives me a Steel type, gives me a secondary Psychic type. But that's fine to have double Psychic with Alakazam. Gives me a more defensive one. Gives me my first Stealth Rocker, which I desperately need. Hazards are very nice for Zygarde. So before I only had Spikes on Scorpy, but I'm going to want to run that offensive potentially a lot for the first 4 weeks I have it. So Bronzong, very, very pog. You know, it doesn't hit super hard, but it has nice coverage to hit many mons with nice stats and 67 HP, 89 attack, 116 defense and Spadaf, 79 special attack, and 33 speed. So it can be a nice Trick Room setter. It can be, you know, a Stealth Rocker, a Toxic Spreader, Gyro Ball, and Heavy Slam are very nice. Gives me another Fairy Killer for the Zygarde, which is very, very nice. So Bronzong's a mon I haven't used a lot this gen. I believe the last time I used it was GDL Season 2, and I absolutely loved it there. So I think it just fits my playstyle super well, and I'm excited to use it again. So next up, we get my boy Conkeldurr. This is the mon that OG Albina was talking about drafting earlier, but then he just ended up not getting it. So I was like, I'll take it. I love Conk. It's a mon that I've fallen in love with. I had it in NCP Season 3. It did okay there. It wasn't the best, but it was fine. Then I used it in Ascension, and now I have it in BBL, and now I have it here. So this mon is just such a great wall breaker. It just has no switch-ins. You know, it's slow with that 45 speed, but with that base 140 attack with a guts boost, so this is a very nice status absorber for that team, you know, taking burns or toxics. It just makes that 140 attack side just that much bigger. It hits very hard. It can also be, you know, Iron Fist or Sheer Force. You know, if I'm just elemental punches, you know, like Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, Mach Punch, it's very, very hard because, you know, it boosts those punch-based moves. Housing Break Steel types that I kind of struggled with, like Zygarde is a great way of killing Steel types, but this is just another way of getting it. And this gives me another Hazard Remover. Conkeldurr is the best defogger. Not really. You'll never see me run defog. It just doesn't need it. But it's not like my team's really hazard weak. Like, it doesn't like appreciate spikes, but otherwise I'm fine. But it's just so bulky with base 105 HP, 95 defense. It's a great Assault Vest user because, you know, your opponent might just, you know, come in with a strong fairy type, try to kill you off. You actually live a hit and then you kill it with the poison jab. So this one just fits very, very well with my playstyle, and I'm super excited to use it. So next up, I had to draft, unfortunately, Umbreon. I needed a dark type. Automatic, I believe, was the one who took a Alolan Persian. Yeah, he was. But that's my mon. That's the mon I use on every team. Like, I can't tell you last time I did not draft a Alolan Persian. I had it on my AP Ascension team, but unfortunately we did not get it here. We're forced with worst mon Umbreon. Gives me a Wishmaster, gives me a dark type, so my opponents are forced to. So like my opponents have like a Mew. They can't run like Iron Defense, Calm Mind, Mew and just beat me. Because then they can run, you know, Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Stored Power, Roost and just win. But Umbreon gives me a way to where they have to run another coverage move or risk getting walled. But Umbreon is very, very nice. And the Wish Pass gives me another Momentum user and Baton Pass, which is something I didn't really focus on a lot this draft, so I'm kind of forced. Like, I have the U-Turn Volt switch on Zapdos. I can run Baton Pass on Scolipede if I'm not Speed Boost, and I have Baton Pass on Umbreon. So I'm going to be forced to make a lot of pivots to get my breakers in, which is not very like me. You know, it doesn't fit my playstyle super well. I like very fast and slow momentum into my, you know, breakers. But it's a very nice mon nonetheless. And for our final mon on the team, we got Greedent. I had 2 points left. Normal type wasn't needed because I have Umbreon for ghost types, but it was a nice 2-pointer. I used this mon in GDL Season 1 as my Dynamax user. Not the greatest, but my boy Jack will tell you otherwise. Base 120 HP, 95 attack and defense, 55 social attack, 75 Spadab, and 20 speed. So this one just hits it very, very hard. Cheek pouch is very nice with the citrus berry. So I essentially heal 1/4 and then you heal 1/3. So you'll basically take a hit and go back to full. And I want to say this one gets counter. It does. It does get counter. So I could be like Chople Berry. You know, live a hit from like a Lucario or something. I can't think of a good fighting type. Like an Urshifu. I can live an Urshifu hit with like Chople Berry counter and then heal it back to full. That is insane. So Greedent might be my Urshifu counter, because do I fight? I know Shay has Urshifu, and I don't know if I fight Shay. Week 1 I fight Q the Costa Rican, who would have thunk it? I always fight Q week 1 of leagues. Week 2 I fight Kurt. Week 3 I fight Shay. Hopefully Shay doesn't watch this, because I might run counter Choppleberry Greedent as my Urshifu counter. So thank you for watching the draft analysis. Make sure to comment down below on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the best team you've ever seen, or actually 1 being the worst team you've ever seen, 10 being the greatest team you've ever seen. Tell me what you think of this team. What do you think I'm going to get in these 4 weeks? You'll see 3 more draft analysis this season. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of draft content coming up soon. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.